Tommy Robinson, the far right, the government. What do they all have in common, mate? They're making it seem like only Islam is the problem. Muslims are being violent out of the blue, and to countries that are just minding their own business. And when the media starts peddling this concept as well, then it seems like it's everywhere, because the media has the power to do that, I'm afraid. And because of that, people are cheesed off, and rightly so, to such a degree that even Muslims are questioning their faith. And there are constant calls to reform, reinterpret and censor Islam as well. I myself was a victim to this, and I'd ask myself,
why are Muslims doing this?
Why can't we just live in peace?
Why is it always us, mate?
but the answer becomes clear when you listen to non-mainstream scholars and when you read non-mainstream history books. Bearing that in mind, what you're about to hear is gonna blow your mind. Alright guys, before you think I'm just giving my own opinions, here are the 3 books that I have used as sources for this video. Britain has been interfering in world politics as far back as we can see. If it's not colonising and enslaving, it's assassinating world leaders and training radical groups for their own interests. Big claims? Time to back it up, mate. How have Britain been supporting Islamists, extremists or terrorists, whatever you want to call them? Number 1. In Iran, they wanted to get rid of Mossadegh, so they supported the Ayatollahs. Number 2. In Iran, they wanted to get rid of the Ayatollahs, so they supported and armed Saddam Hussein. Number 3. Egypt, they wanted to get rid of Gamal Abdel Nasser, so they supported the Muslim Brotherhood. Number 4. Indonesia, they wanted to get rid of Sukarno, so they supported Darul Islam. Number 5. Afghanistan, they wanted to get rid of the Soviet influence, so they supported the Mujahideen. Number 6. In Kosovo, they wanted to get rid of Slobodan Milosevic, so they supported the Kosovo Liberation Army. Number 7. In Israel, they're supporting the Zionists to have a good influence over the Middle East by supporting an illegal naval blockade, by permitting a trade with illegal settlements. Some of the modern day examples, of course, supporting the Libyan rebels against Gaddafi, supporting the Syrian rebels as well. Author Mark Curtis looked at the UK planning files from 1940 to 1970. Couldn't look at the ones after because they became classified, but what he noticed was there was no mention of any grand principles such as democracy, peace or human rights. In fact, most of these things were done for national interest, which is mostly economic, strategic and corporate.
It was in our national interest.
If that's not enough, they plotted to assassinate loads of leaders, mate. Number 1. Enver Hoxha of Albania. Number 2. Sukarno of Indonesia. Number 3. Gamal Abdel Nasser of Egypt. Number 4. Milton Obote of Uganda. And number 5. Slobodan Milosevic of Yugoslavia. And also the UN guy, Dag Hammarskjöld. Now before I wrap up this video, here are a few honourable mentions. Number 1. Depopulating an entire island of Diego Garcia just so the US can build a military base there. Number 2. Having a role in the Rwandan genocide. Number 3. Telling us that this is a repressive regime, but behind the scenes selling weapons to these repressive regimes again and again and again. And of course, fiddling around with borders. Let's look at the Balfour Declaration, in which the UK literally handed Palestine over to the Israelis. The Sykes and Picot Agreement, where after the Ottoman Empire the Middle East was literally carved up and borders were drawn. Britain had ruled over Hindustan, India, Pakistan and Bangladesh for about 200 years. When they left, there was disputed territory with regards to Kashmir, that even till today wars have been fought between Pakistan and India with regards to Kashmir. The border between Pakistan and Afghanistan was actually drawn by the UK as well. It's known as the Durrant Line. And that border has never been accepted by Pakistan or Afghanistan because it separates two major tribes, the Pashtuns and the Baloch. Let's not forget the scramble for Africa, in which Europe literally drew borders on Africa as well, deciding and cutting up tribes, you on that side, you on that side. Because of that we have wars even till today, mate. In Yorkshire there's a place called Menwith Hill. That's actually a drone facility owned by UK and US, through which they're sending drones to Yemen, Somalia and Pakistan to kill innocent people. Because we do know, according to statistics, there's a lot of innocent civilian casualties. I'm not saying for a minute killing innocent people is okay, but you have to understand, it's not because of scripture, it's not because of religion, it's because of the foreign policy and the politics that have been going on and that are still going on. Alright, so let's see what the leading experts in this field think about this. MI5. Far from being religious zealots, a large number of those involved in terrorism do not practice their faith regularly. Let's see what Dr. Mark Sageman says, who's a former CIA operations officer and the US government advisor on the war on terror. He says terrorism is really political violence first and foremost. Professor Scott Atran, a leading expert in radicalization, he's interviewed Al-Qaeda and ISIL fighters. If you dialogue with these people, there is very little discussion of religion. Only way, guys, we're going to change that is number one, stop watching 100 series episodes and actually read from alternative sources and media. But anyway, I don't want this video to be too long because then people aren't going to bother even clicking on it, probably going to go watch the Kardashians or whatnot. So until next time, guys, Assalamu alaikum.